Hello, Fiona.
Hey, how you doing? Let's get the show on the road. Um,
All right, let's go. First of all, I think you have some legal stuff to get out of the way before we get going.
I do. Apparently, they want to make sure because we are talking about protocols. I just want to make sure that there is a few things stated. So, just so you know, as with all of our products, these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Our products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary. All Quanta Therapies protocols have no regulatory approval in any country, and Quanta Therapies have not tested them in controlled clinical trials for safety or efficacy. These protocols are not presented as a replacement for drugs, surgery, or other therapy. These protocols are based on our current understanding of bioenergy and biofrequency. These protocols are updated from time to time. You must apply your own professional clinical judgment as to whether Quanta Therapies is an appropriate treatment for your patient, taking into account the professional training that you've had, only treating conditions within your scope of practice and are insured for. End of all the legal mumbo jumbo. So now we can really get the show on the road.
Well, that was great. Um, okay, so I think maybe it'd be best if we start off with like the big question that I have. Maybe there's a lot of talk on the internets and whatnot. Like, is what's going on with Quanta? Is Quanta dying? Or what's happening there? I mean, that's what I hear on the interwebs.
If you heard it on the interwebs, well, what can I say? Um, the interwebs is this wonderful place, and I've been hearing rumors about Quanta since before Quanta started. So this surfaces every few months. And it's just part of being a small company. It's a small company and we ship worldwide. We're multinational. We try to get our products to as many people as possible, which is the mission of Quanta. The super interesting part of all of this is you as the consumer and you, the practitioner, all you care about is can I get you the product? And quite frankly, you couldn't give a rat's ass about how I get it to you as long as I get it to you. The reality of it is I'm looking at tax nexuses. I can't even say that quickly 3 times. Tax nexuses and import restrictions and which most people don't ever need to know about and most people don't care about. So we as a company have gone down various rabbit holes in terms of getting the product to people, and we thank everybody for their patience, but no, Quanta is not going anywhere. If we were dying, as you put it, we wouldn't be investing time and effort into product development. And so one of the things we're going to talk about today is the new 5G products that we are having to come out. And I want to explain to our practitioners the actual process that it takes to actually create a new patch. So with all that in mind, putting this to bed, no, we're not going anywhere. If we are going anywhere, it's actually to bigger, better interwebs. We are looking at a few partnerships, and I'm hoping that we're going to be in even more places than we are right now.
Cool. And I know that at least within 2019, Quanta has rolled out a couple other product lines. So we've got the pet line and Quanta Life as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that those are two more things that have been added. And I guess the company doesn't add stuff if they're dying.
Yes. And the complication to this is, as most of you know, I don't do math and I don't like math. But again, the reality of the company requires a lot of math. So we're looking at over 80 line items with 80 individual SKUs. And our accounting team just managing, as most of you know, this is one sheet. And I don't know how you keep track of it in your practice, but we're keeping track of over 100,000 sheets doing different things, going to different places. So, and with just on patches alone, we have 65 SKUs. without taking into consideration other things. And when you go into a 3PL situation, why am I even using words like this? I mean, come on. So when you go into
I was about to ask.
when you go into a 3PL situation, we're described as a company that has small size, high value. So you actually have to take in extra precautions because of how small the product is. You can misplace them very easily. So all these things have to be taken into logistical consideration before we even do anything else. And I've seen the inventory count every quarter, and you see people sort of muttering under their breath as they miss a sheet, and they have to recount the whole lot. So that's the fun end of all of this. And sometimes you do see that we are a little bit quiet because we are really putting down the back end of this so that we can do what we're supposed to, which is get you the products that you want and need in as timely and as a cost-effective way to you and to us as possible.
Cool. Well, speaking of small item, high value stuff, I know that we're talking about the immune patches this month. So I thought maybe you could take a minute and go through them and like tell us what they are and what they're about, how they work.
Yes. The immune patches are really, really cool. We have 10. Hang on, let me make sure I do the count correctly. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yep, 10. We've
Math.
We have 10 different immune patches. And before we continue with the immune patches, for those of you who are on this webinar, you can still send in questions. And you will see it on the top left-hand, hang on, I'm making sure I'm not dyslexic on this one. The top left-hand corner, you'll see a question mark and it says Q&A. You can hit that button and then type a message and it'll be sent to us and we can answer your question. Or if there's something you need, you can also raise your hand, but it's probably more efficient if you just go click the Q&A button and send the question in. And then we will deal with that as soon as you send it in. Now,
yeah, as the guy who sees the hand raising and the questions coming in, I'll see a question before I see the hand go up, and then I'll wonder why there's a hand on my screen.
So yeah, so go the Q&A and don't raise your hand. Okay.
All right, on to patches then.
On to patches. Okay. Oh wait, hang on. I seem to have misplaced my bracelet because it's not on my hand. Give me a second. I want to show you something cool. We have a new bracelet coming out. Okay, I think we can do that now. So the immune patches are really cool. They are exactly that, immune. They work on different functions of your immune system. I would say that the average person is going to be using things like immune boost, immune viral, and immune support are probably the 3 immune patches that you're going to use: immune boost, immune viral, and immune support. However, we've got the other 7, and the other 7 are really cool for things that you might not even think you knew you had needed an immune patch for. So I'll start off with immune bio. Immune bio affects the. So again, before I get carried away, remember that the patches work on sound, and they are all adaptogenic because they are introducing a sound to create a homeostatic, optimal frequency, optimal sound, optimal environment for your body and your body systems. So they are all adaptogenic. And given that they're all adaptogenic, it's about balance. It's about creating the best balance in your system, in your healing biome. So first off, immune bio. Immune bio affects biofilm. For those of you who are not familiar with the concept of biofilm, it is We all have it, and it is sort of this sticky cells that hold together. The biggest application for this is oral biofilm. And one of the cool things that we're going to be doing coming up is we are going to do a joint research with a dental practice in Menlo Park here in California, is to measure how we can affect the biofilm in somebody's mouth. Because as you get older, one of the biggest things that is happening at the moment, or that happens as you get older, is that your biofilm can grow out of control. And when your biofilm grows out of control, it's the same thing as sort of gut bacteria in your oral cavity. And when it does grow out of control, you do get tooth decay and you get sort of a lot of oral mucosal issues. And just like how we can actually measure individual gut bacteria now, you can do the same thing with oral bacteria. So we are going to do a small study where we're going to swab, I think we said 15 people, and then have them wear the immune bio patch, probably just behind under the ear, close enough to the mouth, but it's not on your face, for 2 weeks, changing the patches every 3 days. And then we will again remeasure the biome, the oral biome, at the end of the 2 weeks, and see the changes that we are hoping to see. And the changes we are hoping to see is that you have a more balanced and controlled microbiome with the right amount of biofilm. So again, the thing with bacteria in your gut and bacteria in your mouth, you need it. That's the thing. You need it. It exists naturally. The only time you're going to have issues is when there is an overgrowth or an imbalance. So all we're doing is to restore balance for you. It's that simple. I mean, I say it's that simple, but we all know it's extremely complicated. But just keep that in mind, is that we're not. I know it's like it's so simple. The second you fix this, it'll be fine. And so as simple as I'm trying to make it sound, I do understand the complexity of it, but there's also a simplicity to the complexity of what we're trying to achieve.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Immune Boost is exactly as it sounds. It is designed to boost your immunity. It is designed to, especially in if you are exposed to an environment where you could be potentially I don't even know how to.
Like have a weaker immune system, or
to weaken your immune system. So like if you're, so when I fly, so my flying protocol is Immune Boost and Immune Viral on my sternum, because I don't like airplane germs. I think is the best way of describing it. It is, I don't want airplane germs, so I make sure that that I wear Immune Boost. The other thing that I've heard reports of people wearing it is that if they are concerned with chemtrails, people have been wearing them if they feel that there are more chemtrails than usual, and that is affecting their health. And that's the reports that we have been getting. So Immune Boost is just that. And Immune Boost is about your environment, the environment to which you are exposing your body to.
Oh, cool.
The third patch, Immune Candida. Immune Candida is one of our top selling immune patches. I will talk about the Candida protocol a little bit later on. But I will point out that Immune Candida, again, it's about balancing the Candida population in your body. I will make a big point, and I will make the point again later when we go through the protocol. The second you put this on, quite literally, the second you put this on, it will start the Candida die-off process. So if you are unfamiliar with the Candida die-off process, or your client is unfamiliar with the Candida die-off process, and you're not quite sure what is happening with the Candida patch, please do learn a bit more about the Candida die-off process before you apply this to a client. The way that the body manages the Candida overgrowth is to go through the Candida die-off process. When we launch the workbook for how we're going to do it and how we're going to be onboarding practitioners, Immune Candida patch is going to be an advanced patch, and you will not be able to access it as a level 1 practitioner, just because, not that it will actually hurt anybody, but the fact that it will start off a Candida die-off process, and if you don't understand how to manage that, you could have a very uncomfortable client. And the last thing we want is to create a situation where you have a client who is going through a natural process that they may not be ready for. So that's that. Immune liver, I really like this patch. It was specifically designed for things like hepatitis, the various hepatitises. What is the plural for hepatitis?
I don't know. I'm going to go with hepatitis.
Hepatitis A, B, C. So anytime you have that sort of condition, it will impact the liver. And this is a patch that was specifically designed for hepatitis. However, having said that, it is also proven to, it has been used very well with people who sort of had a liver hiccup after a large round of antibiotics for whatever reasons. If you've been on antibiotics, it will affect your liver processes. And so I would use it then, immune liver, organ support, systems detox, and liver support on the liver, probably for about a week or so, just to get the liver back to where it needs to go. And also remember, the liver is such a large organ, and yes, it's still my favorite organ. It's such a large organ that you can patch in the front and in the back and on the side. So there's really not very many places. Basically, your right quadrant of your abdominal section, you can patch with any of the liver patches, so you won't, even if you have a small person or a child, you're not going to run out of real estate just because the liver does take up that much room. Immune mycoplasma. Now, this is one of my favorites, and I actually, when I first discovered bracelets, my first bracelet actually had immune mycoplasma programmed into it. Now, for those of you who don't know what mycoplasma is, mycoplasma, quick biology 101, mycoplasma is a unique type of bacteria that does not have a cell wall. And what happens when you have a bacteria that does not have a cell wall is that they are immune to antibiotics, because the way antibiotics work is to destroy the cell wall so that the organism dies. So you're essentially looking at antibiotic resistant bacteria. And so if you do have a case of that, this is the patch, immune mycoplasma. But in addition to that, one of the things that have been shown in research recently is that people with an autoimmune condition, such as multiple sclerosis or lupus, etc., they are showing to have a higher level of mycoplasma in their system. So when I did my first bracelet, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Let's try this. And so that was my first bracelet. And I think I do put this patch on myself every so often. just because I just want to make sure it's kind of more of a preventative, a prophylactic than anything else. And you know, I can't say that I'm jumping up and down to say, oh, this has definitely made a difference. But I can also say that I haven't had any flare-ups, or I haven't had anything in over 2 years. So, you know, a patch on me every 2 months is not a big deal given what the other options are.
Right.
Keep going. Immune patho. Immune patho is specifically designed for parasites. Maybe a bit should have been called immune para, but immune patho is designed for parasites. And if you have some sort of parasitic infection, if you have some sort of exposure to parasites, but you're still not sure if you're all clear, do a round of immune patho. Again, we've heard great reports of it, and again, I'm going through these patches and I'm thinking, oh my God, these are like really cool random stuff that most people don't see in their clinic. But if you know how to use these patches and you know how to have access to them, I think you're going to start seeing some really cool cases coming through, if that is what your practice is open to. So immune patho, parasites. Immune respond. Now, immune respond, again, is exactly that. It is to improve your body's natural immune response to things. It's an overall, very general boosting of the immune system. I know people, I know parents who've used this for their kids and themselves as we get into the flu season. And they just wear one either on the back of their neck or on this, or just under their shirt collar on their sternum. Remember that the body is a closed loop system, and because you are a closed loop system, you can essentially put these patches anywhere and it will just circulate. The reason I'd go with
what do you mean when you say closed loop system? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so a closed loop system means that when you affect one thing, it affects the entire system. You can't impact something and assume that it's going to be isolated from the rest of the body.
Oh, okay, got it.
So, for example, you can't put well, I'm trying to make it so you can't get a flu virus and just assume that it's affecting your nose. It's affecting the entire system.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
sorry to interrupt you, as you were.
That's all right. That's the point of these conversations. So interrupt away. And again, people, if you have questions or if there's something I'm not covering, just send a message. Don't raise a hand. Just send a message, and we will get to it. So immune response is definitely a prophylactic, and you know, I put it on my kids. Again, it's not that you are concerned about germs. You just don't want the germs to stay on you. All right, 3 more patches. Immune stealth. Immune stealth was specifically designed for Lyme disease. And it was targeted to look at the bacteria and to balance out the bacteria in Lyme disease. If we have time today, I'm going to go into a Lyme disease protocol, but it is a very involved protocol because Lyme disease is so systemic. Again, this is not something that on average you would address unless this is something that your practice is able to support. However, you have a resource is the best way for me to explain this to you. This is the immune stealth patch, and anything that affects a a chronic systemic condition has to be seen as part of a bigger treatment plan. So this is an augmentation to a larger treatment plan. Always keep that in mind when you're doing something like this. So I will talk about that if we get time a little bit later on, because these patches are quite involved. Immune support. Immune support is, again, exactly that.
Oh, okay.
I know, we really do try to make it simple. And then, so you're probably going to say, you know, what's the difference between immune response and immune support? It is the individual. Some people respond better to immune support, and some people respond better to immune response. It's about the frequency and it's about the personalization of it for the client. But again, it is about creating this level of systemic balance and homeostasis that the body wants. Again, you know, some people like to wear, I wear immune boost, immune viral, and immune respond when I'm flying, especially if I'm flying long haul. Some people wear immune support, some people wear immune respond. Again, completely individual. And that's the really cool part about patch therapy and bioenergy medicine, is that it is so individual and definitely steps away from the one size fits all concept that we're so used to.
Well, yeah, and the patches being so customizable where you can mix and match until you find the right thing that works. Right?
Absolutely, because you know, like I personally, even with the pain patches, you know, my personal favorite is Pain Complex, but every practitioner you talk to will have a different favorite patch, but for completely different reasons. And they will have a favorite patch for themselves, and then they'll have a favorite patch for their clients. So, and then you'll have clients who have their favorite patches. So given the price points, and given the fact that, you know what, if this is not working for you, take it off and put something else on, the ease of it, it's not like you have to taper off something and put something else on. The fact that you can actually just take off a patch and put another one on, just makes it so much easier and so much more manageable on how you do your life. And how you get care, really, at the end of the day.
Right.
Final immune patch, immune viral. Seriously, guys, this is exactly what it sounds like. It's for viruses. Immune viral. It's for viruses. If you have a virus, put this on. If you want to prevent a virus, put this on. Definitely, this is then I'm going to segue into the cold and flu protocol. So the general cold and flu protocol is immune viral paired with an immune support or an immune response, or even an immune boost. So it depends on what you have on hand. It depends on what your body responds to. If you do have a headache that goes with your cold and flu, kind of like that sinusy feeling, you can pair it with a sinus ease or a pain acute. So I would usually put a pain acute at C1 or 2, so that you get rid of that headache, and then and the sinus ease on the back of the neck as well. Some people like to put it on their face just to get as close as possible to it. But if you're not in a position where you're going to be walking around with a shiny sticker on your face, back of the neck works really, really well. And then you put the immune viral and the immune respond or the immune boost or the immune support on the chest. And I recommend doing it at the second you start feeling off, take care of it. because as you get ill, remember again, this is about vibrational settings, or how the body is vibrating. If your body is starting that decline to vibrate at an off, let's stop it before it descends. Obviously, if you have descended into being ill, it does take a little bit longer to bring your vibrations back up. But so the sooner you can get to this, the sooner you're going to start seeing results. So that's the cold and flu. That's the cold and flu protocol. It's fairly simple, and again, based on the condition that's presented to you. If there's a headache, put in a Pan-Acute. If there isn't a headache, you don't need it. If you want to boost antioxidants, put a free radical support on the liver, or some people like to put an advanced repair on the sternum as well. So again, the options are available to you. What was the other protocol I wanted to look at? Oh,
well, you were talking earlier about microbiome, or yeah, you were talking about, I think it was microbiome or candida. I can't remember which one. Yeah, and you touched a little bit on the dental component, and so it's like the next one is your dental protocol. Like, what does that look like, your dental protocol?
Okay, the dental protocol is super easy. It is one immune bio in the back of just on the back of the jaw, sort of just under your ear, and you basically replace the patches. So you can put it one on your right side for 3 days, and the next 3 days you put it on your left side, and do it for a couple of weeks, and that's it. It's literally one patch. It's a one patch protocol. If you've got other stuff going on, obviously treat the other stuff too. But if your dentist is saying to you, I think your microfilms are off in your mouth, or your biofilm. Oh my God, what am I saying? Not microfilm. That's very
very, no, 1980s spy movie.
You do not have microfiche in your mouth. You have biofilm in your mouth. So if your dentist is saying to you, you might have a biofilm issue, get the immune bio and just try it for 2 weeks and see what they're doing. Because one of the things that they're recommending right now is a lot of dental offices will carry a very specific, why am I having a blank? It's a supplement. Probiotic. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I do. So dental offices have started carrying a very specific probiotic that you can take. Obviously do that if that's what your dentist recommends, but you can definitely boost the effect of it with the patches, with the immune bio patch.
Cool. So Lyme disease, let's talk about that for a minute. And is that something that can be treated with the immune system, with the immune patches?
Yes. So it's part of a much bigger protocol. Remember, with Lyme disease, it's affecting your heart, your nervous system, and your joints. So you definitely use immune stealth. I definitely recommend it in a bracelet. Absolutely in a bracelet. And a Lyme disease bracelet will have immune stealth, lymph boost, joint ease. And the reason I'm going to say joint ease is because a lot of people with Lyme disease have very painful joints, and cellular energy, just for circulation and mitochondrial repair. So those would be the 4 things that I would definitely put into a Lyme bracelet if your client does have Lyme disease and they just want a little bit of extra support. If you are doing a patch protocol, it will be a multiple patch protocol. Not only is it a multiple patch protocol, it will be a multiple times protocol. So the first thing I would do with this is put the immune stealth on, as well as a lymphatic protocol, which we talked about last month. And then when they've done that, I would start treating all the individual systems and then the local joints and the local organs and the various things. Basically, take it through the squeaky wheel. Once you've done the lymph, start going through the squeaky wheel concept. What is really bothering your client, and address that. Again, this is part of a bigger protocol, so whatever it is that they are doing with their doctors and their other healthcare practitioners, the patches will just augment that condition, that situation. If they are going for regular IV antibiotics, do really seriously take care of their liver for them, because you really want to take care of that, and you want to take care of their gut bacteria as well. So with that, you want to use microbiome support, which is one of our systemic patches. So again, it's really who ends up being presented in front of you, and what's really going on with them and what their concerns are. And once you have that, you literally now have all these tools in front of you that you can mix and match and pull from, because there is not going to be two protocols that are going to be the same. So as long as you know you need to take care of the lymph, you need to take care of joints, you need to take care of their nervous system, you need to take care of their liver, and now you have a patch that will start addressing the level of that bacteria that is in their system, the parasite bacteria that's in their system, then you can start seeing improvements as their systems all heal. Remember, we're not treating a condition. We are supporting systems so that the body actually has a better environment into which they can heal in.
Cool. So you mentioned, you talked a little earlier about immune candida, and did you want to go into depth on the protocol for that?
Yes, I also want to do a quick show and tell. Give me a second, I lost my show and tell sheet. I have, for those of you who are on the Facebook group, I have posted this before on the Facebook group, and this is the protocol that will also be in our workbook, as well as this is the protocol that is going to be in the forum. So don't be concerned if you haven't already seen it. But as you can see, this is quite there's lots of my chicken scratch all over this. The things you need to do, the things you need to remember is that this protocol is geared towards supporting the body during the candida die-off period and the candida die-off symptoms. When I talk about candida die-off symptoms, the first thing people are going to notice is they're going to start running warm. They might even develop a slight fever, a mild fever, as the candida does die off. And some people, because you're actually creating waste. You are creating waste within the body, and so it has to come out of your body. So people are going to start. Some people might have a headache. They will run warm. They may have a headache. They might feel a bit nauseous. So we want to support that. We want to make sure that they're drinking a lot of water. Quanta H2O keeps them hydrated. You want to support their kidneys with kidney support, or cellular energy or endocrine support, depending on what you have. Organ support will also help through the lymphatic system, because we are creating extra waste into the system and we need to get rid of it. And the only way to get rid of it is to eliminate it through bowels or urine. The other thing you should think about is Quanta Digest. I give that to everybody who comes through my clinic, because Quanta Digest will start, the 4 ingredients in there will start balancing out the gut lining. Most people with a candida overgrowth will have some level of leaky gut, so let's take care of that and let's support that. So the patches that I have on my little thing here is pain primary, systems ease, pH balance, endocrine support, kidney support. Again, you don't need to use all of these patches. This is like the go crazy protocol. Use what your client is experiencing, use what your client needs, and use what your client really needs support for. Definitely lymph boost, liver support. Obviously, you can't do this without immune candida. And advanced repair and the free radical support, just to support all the systems. Organ support on the spleen will also help the spleen, given the spleen is your lymph organ, eliminate this waste, this extra waste that we're creating. For those of you who have clients who have chronic candida, and they just can't shake it, what I recommend on the bracelet is immune candida, digest IP, lymph boost, and advanced repair. So definitely, so for those of you who may have missed this, when you put this immune candida patch on your client, it will immediately start the candida die-off process. And so the protocol that exists is to make sure that they are supported, their systems are supported through the die-off process.
Okay. So let's go to immune liver. Like, did that move to level 2? Has it always been a level 2 patch, and why?
It is a level 2 patch because we are talking again about hepatitis. It was designed specifically for liver hepatitis, or support through hepatitis, and most people don't deal with clients with hepatitis. And the reason we're moving it there is because the protocol is, again, very involved. And given that we are bringing in practitioners who will become Quanta practitioners once they have the workbook, I don't want clients or practitioners to be in a situation where they're outside of their depth. So again, none of these patches are actually going to hurt anybody or create a situation that is of concern. The issue is that if you don't have an efficient experience, if you don't have a good experience with the patches, why the heck would you ever trust it again?
Right.
And that's really the logic behind it. So if I want people, as they continue their education, as they learn this mix and match concept, and it really is that, it's the mix and match concept. As you become more proficient in the mix and match concept, then mix and match all you want. But, maybe learn how to play chopsticks before you play Beethoven. It's pretty much.
I can use chopsticks.
No, play chopsticks, not use chopsticks.
Oh.
Yeah, play chopsticks before you play Beethoven. It's a good place to start, So that's really the thought process of why we have put foundational patches and advanced patches. It's not that something is more magical or something's more dangerous or something is more whatever. It's about the efficacy of what you can do as a practitioner. And if one of the things for us at Quanta is to create really efficient, really confident practitioners, we don't want you out of your depth. Like, really get down the foundational patches and how you can mix and match and play with them and create new combinations before we give you more stuff to play with.
So it sounds like it's more about effectiveness for you than any scary stuff.
Yeah, there's no scary stuff involved. It's a life science product. It's sound. It's sounds usually, well, I shouldn't say sound isn't scary because you do have scary sounds, but I'm just saying that it's not impacting in terms of scary, as in it can't hurt you.
Right. Cool. So you talked a little bit earlier. You talked a little bit about microplasma. That's a lot. So you want to talk more about that, or did you pretty much cover all the things you wanted to say around microplasma?
Because most people don't run across that. If you want to geek out about it, send me an email. But actually, what I want to talk about are the bracelets. So the bracelets have been very interesting here at Quanta. Hang on, I'm gonna take this one off for you for a second. We're actually checking out a new bracelet design. It's slightly slimmer. It's slightly slimmer than our last bracelet, which I think that the ladies would be happier about. There's also the strap will allow for smaller wrists. But the thing for me is that for a few people, we've actually had a few bracelets returned because the germanium balls have fallen out, and technically, so this is part of the exploration we do as a company launching new products. Is we do want products that last for as long as we say it should last. So it's very annoying that the germanium balls had fallen out of the previous bracelets. And so I'm hoping with this new design, we're not going to have that issue, because there's actually a bar that will go through the germanium balls, which did have it in the other one, but for some reason, because of the circular holding, they did fall out. And so for those of you whose bracelets we've replaced, we do apologize for the inconvenience, but hopefully we just know that we're constantly working. We take your feedback seriously, and we're constantly working at getting more resilient and better products out for you. The thing I like about the bracelets is that they last a year. They're obviously not, most people report that they don't feel it as much as they feel the patches, quite obviously, because you are looking at something that lasts a year rather than 3 days. I call this kind of the controlled release versus the quick release of the patches. For a lot of my clients with a chronic condition who have a bracelet, and it's interesting because it kind of also affects them a little bit psychologically as well. Is they feel more secure when they can't come in to see me, or if they can't, or if they don't have patches with them. They do this gives them that security that they are still looking after their frequency. And it's like being able to wear your multivitamin on your wrist. So that's the thing that I've loved about the bracelets. This month we launched 2 new formulas that is available to the public, as well as you can buy them at practitioner pricing and sell in your clinics. Menopause support and fertility support. Those have worked very well in my clinic. I've also given them to lots of girlfriends. And the reports have all been positive. So with that, I'm very happy to put that into our catalog. The menopause bracelet has lymph boost, fem balance, cellular energy, as well as SLD boost. It just takes the edge off the moods, like the tiredness, particularly the tiredness that women complain about through menopause. They say that their emotions feel more balanced. Some of them do supplement it with an emotional balance patch, and we've just had good reports. So if a bracelet is going to help you survive menopause, more power to everybody. And I think your partner would like you more too. The fertility support bracelet, that one I recommend wearing about 6 months before you plan conception. Fem balance, lymph boost, free radical support, and emotional balance. It's a very stressful time planning for a pregnancy. It's a very stressful time planning for fertility, like the whole fertility concept. So this bracelet is designed to give you a more robust system so that conception as well as going into pregnancy, your body will be at a higher level. So that's the thought process behind the two bracelets.
Cool. Now, is there also 5G products for the phone happening?
Oh, yes. I don't actually have a show and tell for that because I just started talking about it, and we were looking at it 3 days ago because the design was coming through on them. So as you know, hang on, I can show and tell certain things on my phone. So as you can tell, we've got the 2 EMR products for existing phones, 2G, 3G, and 4G, as well as all your other electronic products. However, if you have a 5G device, the frequency is a little bit different. So the 5G product, we will be adding the 5G product to our catalog to augment the EMR stuff that we have as well. Now, also remember, we do have the 5G bracelets for those of you who are concerned for walking around and being exposed to 5G towers. But the 5G electronic product is specifically for 5G phones. So I'm going to start playing with that this month. And usually, I say it usually, correct me if I'm wrong, it takes us usually about 6 to 8 weeks before we put something on the market for everybody else.
About that, yeah. I mean, we want to, yeah.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we haven't broke, that we can break it as many ways as we can before we take it out to you. So that's definitely, that will, oh, look at that. It's going to be out in time for Christmas. So Christmas stocking stuffers.
Fantastic. All right. So let's talk a little bit. We only have a few minutes left, but do you want to talk about the processes for developing new patches?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I keep forgetting to talk about that. So the process in which we develop new patches is that any substance, any organic substance has its own sound frequency. And so if it's a substance that has a sound frequency, it can then be converted into a patch. Having said that, we've only converted stuff to patches. The engineers have only converted stuff to patches that they know the sound frequency of, and two, just to make sure, you send in a sample of the actual natural frequency of the natural product. So, for example, if we were trying to put an orange into a patch, there is already the registered sound frequency for an orange, and then you would actually take an actual orange, like a physical actual orange, to the lab, and they put it into a powder form, and then in that powder form they put it through the frequency machine again to create that frequency, and then that frequency now is registered and then goes into a patch. So in terms of, I know people have been asking us if we're putting out new patches. The answer is yes and no. Yes, in terms of I am looking at a few things that research is showing, which will be great for mental health. So we're looking at some things like 5-MeO-DMT. The issue with things like 5-MeO-DMT is that we actually have to get a good quality source of 5-MeO-DMT to the lab for them to work with. And as most of you know, 5-MeO-DMT is currently an illegal substance in the United States. So this is going to be tricky, and not on our list probably for another year. And the reason I'm going to say not on our list for another year is because I really, again, I want practitioners to be very confident in using our current catalog before we introduce anything else. The other thing also is we have a very robust catalog. There is pretty much, you can pretty much affect everything with what we have. So when someone says to me, do you have a patch for X, or have you created a patch for X? My first question is, what have you tried so far, and why do you think we need to create something absolutely specific? Because with what we have and our healing philosophy of healing systems and changing the healing environment, we should be able to affect positive change in most conditions with what we have. So when people start talking about patches and new products, that is the thought process. That is the question you're going to get from me. Not that I'm not open to it, but do understand that there is a very involved process. Oh, and not to mention, there is a very involved cost in it. Having said that, if there is something that you would like us to design specifically for you and you want to pay for that, please feel free to reach out and have that conversation with us. We would be happy to help you get that. If there is really something very specific that we don't already have in our catalog, that you want developed for yourself, and you are open to the cost of it.
Cool. Well, it consumes our hour.
Oh,
so
okay.
We've run out of time. Handily, I think you were engaging because nobody had any questions. On that note, you've got legal again. Legal at the beginning, legal at the end.
Oh, legal at the end. Okay, hang on. Let me go pull out the legal things. Okay, the legal thing says, all these statements that I have made today, seriously, all the statements I have made today have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Our products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary. All Quanta Therapies protocols have no regulatory approval in any country, and Quanta Therapies have not tested them in controlled clinical trials for safety or efficacy. These protocols are not presented as a replacement for drugs, surgery, or other therapy. These protocols are based on our current understanding of bioenergy and biofrequency. These protocols are updated from time to time. You must apply your own professional clinical judgment as to whether Quanta is an appropriate treatment for your patient, taking into account the professional training you have had, only treating conditions within your scope of practice and are insured for. Now we just need to speed that up like the big pharma ads.
Yeah, we need to hire the guy with the voice to do the pharma ad thing really fast.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Fiona. This has been a very enlightening and wonderful Q&A webinar, and I will see everybody next month. Take care.
All right. Thank you.